Joining us now, he knows something a little bit about Virginia politics. E.W. Jackson ran unsuccessfully for lieutenant governor in 2013, won that very contested convention back then with 7 candidates in it. Now he's the president of STAND. Many people like me think he's going to throw his hat in the ring in 2018 to get the Republican Senate nomination against Tim Kaine. But we can't say that publicly. It's only my narrative. And if his wife is listening, I'll be on her bad boy list. Joining us now, E.W. Jackson. Bishop, good to have you with us.
Well, thanks for having me, John, and thanks for not saying anything about that publicly. I'm sure everybody appreciates that. As you know, look, I've never said I would not run for anything again. We'll see what the future holds, and I'll just leave it at that.
I think you're going to run. Now, I know you've got your annual Martin Luther King event coming up a week from Monday. I want to talk about that. But I just got to open, EW, with Talladega College. This is Alabama's oldest historically black liberal arts college, coming under fire after its marching band accepted an invitation to perform at Trump's inauguration. And it's been all over the news, and these kids have been under pressure. And here's what bothers me about this. I want to get your take. These kids have worked so hard in that band for so long. Anybody that's ever had a child in a college band, it is like playing baseball like I did. I mean, it's 24/7. I mean, you practice all the time. You got an opportunity to perform at an inauguration parade. I don't care who's getting inaugurated president. That's a prestigious opportunity once in a lifetime. Why would you want to deny these college kids in the band that unique opportunity for political gain? Why would you do that?
Well, to me, there's a very simple answer, John, and it is the hatred and the bigotry and the vitriol of the left. You know, they always accuse conservatives of being intolerant and narrow-minded and bigoted. But when you mentioned our breakfast, when we held our breakfast in 2008 after President Obama was elected, and of course I disagree with him on just about everything, but we put an ad on our dime, put an ad in our book congratulating him on his historic win. Because to me it was the gracious and appropriate thing to do, even though I knew I did not agree with him on much of his policy prescriptions. These folks don't think like that. They hate anybody who doesn't agree with them. They hate Donald Trump. They hate his supporters. And instead of them just saying, well, let's have an interesting, rational discussion about the direction of the country over the next 4 to 8 years, they want to destroy anybody who seems to be supporting, and they're not even supporting, but just who seems to be in any way going along with the legitimacy of the Donald Trump presidency. I tell you, it's tragic. And bad for these kids.
That's the thing. I mean, it's almost like the college students in this band, and this is not easy. I mean, to get in a college band, I mean, it's tough. You've been practicing since you're in grammar school for this stuff, because you got to go out for the band, make the band. They practice all the time. I mean, I tell the story. I played baseball in college, and this was a long time ago, so it's not like it is today. But, I mean, that is all we did. And if performance was off, you got cut from the team and your scholarship was out. I mean, it's just bottom line, all right? If I struck out with guys on, I'm out. That's just how it is. But here's the thing. Who's talking about the band players?
Right. Well, see, you know, John, here's the thing. In a way, you know, I am glad that this is happening. Not glad for these kids, obviously. I want them to have the opportunity to go play for the President of the United States at the inauguration. But I think the more the left does this, the more the average American citizen, who maybe isn't that ideological, maybe they lean a little conservative, maybe they lean a little liberal, will look at this stuff and say, what is wrong with these people? Why are they treating other human beings this way? Why are they so much more interested in destroying anybody who doesn't agree with them than they are in simply trying to make an argument, trying to persuade others that their point of view is correct? And, you know, in the meantime, these kids are the victims. But I'll tell you, I think the more they do it, the more they're going to marginalize themselves, the more they're going to marginalize the Democrat Party, and I think the more Americans are going to turn away from them as they did in this last election.
I think you're so right, because average people look at this and they're saying, why is this even happening? And, I admire the college administrators for standing up for their band players, because it would have been very easy for them to just cave in and say, okay, well, we just can't take the social media heat. We're going to back out. But they basically said, this is the right thing for our kids, and so we're going to go forward with it. And so I commend them for that.
Hey, John, let me add one other thing that we don't want to ever leave out, and I have been saying this for years. I believe that the real danger of racism is not in the Ku Klux Klan. It's not in the Nazis. I mean, those groups are out there, but they're extremely marginalized. I mean, they don't really have any power or influence. I believe that the real racism in America today is coming out of the left, out of the liberal community, the liberal elites who treat minorities like they own them. And if any minority dares to do anything that the liberal elites don't approve of, suddenly we're persona non grata, and suddenly, we're not black, and we're not worthy. It's just like Max Kellerman, the sports commentator, said about Jim Brown meeting with Donald Trump, that, he was being used as a pawn. Well, Jim Brown met with Donald Trump because Donald Trump has expressed an interest in trying to help the inner city, something Jim Brown has dedicated his life to. But here's some liberal elite, and Max Kellerman is a sports commentator, but he's a far-left guy. Here he is passing judgment on the great Jim Brown that he shouldn't be meeting with Donald Trump because it's a bad look and he's only being used as a pawn. Liberals really think that they are the ones who define what black people should and should not do. And I think a lot of black folks are waking up and realizing we've had enough of that, and we're going to think for ourselves and do what we think is right.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. EW, let me read you a text here from Tom in Yorktown who says, I'm tired of hearing that the Republicans have no replacement for Obamacare. Yes, they do. Have been discussing it since the institution of Obamacare. They're going to allow insurance companies to compete over state lines. This is one of Trump's tenets. They will keep the parts of Obamacare that allow children to remain on parents' policy under 26 and not denying people with pre-existing conditions. Competition will bring down cost and make coverage better. Economics 101. But EW, the Democrats are now framing this. Chuck Schumer yesterday, they've got all the buzzwords. They call it, let's make America sick again. They're saying it's going to cause chaos. They're saying that people are going to be thrown off the rolls. They're not going to get coverage, things of that nature. The bottom line is premiums have gone up 50%. Deductibles have gone up, thousands and thousands of dollars. So that have affected average people. How do the Republicans turn this thing around message-wise?
Well, to tell you the truth, the moment Chuck Schumer opens his mouth, just like with Obama over the last 8 years, the American people get sicker and sicker of hearing this demagogic rhetoric. Look, this whole debacle was created, I'm talking about Obamacare, was created on a tissue-thin paper of lies. If you want your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you want your health care, you can keep your health care. A $2,500 reduction in the family cost of health care. We won't fund abortion. Obamacare won't include abortion in order to get the pro-life Democrat legislators on board, and on and on and on. And we won't provide health care to illegal immigrants. On and on and on it goes. Every single one of those things proved to be, and I really believe this, an intentional lie. I don't think it was, we think this is going to happen, and it didn't. I think they simply told the American people what they thought they needed to tell them, even though they knew it was not true. And now Chuck Schumer is saying that an attempt to get rid of this thing and put something in place that provides actually affordable health care is making America sick again. Here again, it's this kind of rhetoric. Instead of saying, look, let's work with the president-elect. Let's try to. This is where the Democrats made their big mistake, John. If they had reached out to moderate Republicans, gotten them on board, included some of the things that Republicans thought were important, they would have made getting rid of Obamacare a whole lot more difficult. But instead, they rammed it down as a completely partisan effort. They lied, they cheated, they did backroom deals, midnight deals to push the thing through. And now they're surprised that the American people don't like it and the Republicans are going to get rid of it. I mean, they sowed this harvest when they created this thing on their own without any Republican involvement or support. and now we're going to give the American people something that will actually work for them instead of this abomination that's been created.
Well, you're absolutely right there, and it's going to be interesting how this plays out, but they can do all the messaging they want. If your premium, like mine, went from $500 to $1,000, and your deductible went from $500 per person in your family to $10,000, they can spin it any way they want. It's a disaster.
Ours too, John. Ours too, up for about 40%, and deductible just absolutely through the roof. So, yeah, they can talk all that stuff they want, but the American people know what Obamacare has done to them, hadn't done anything for them.
And by the way, that's why I went to Liberty Health Share. More information, go to libertyhealthshare.org. We've been on it for 18 months now. It's been fantastic. libertyhealthshare.org. Isn't it fabulous how I got that promo in, man? I am really good at this stuff, EW.
You're an expert.
Okay, we're really fired up about your MLK breakfast. What's the specifics?
Well, so am I, John. And the first thing I want to mention is we started back in 2002, right after 9/11, honoring police and first responders at our breakfast. So we've been doing this now for 16 years. It has become even more poignant now, given the fact that nationwide police officers are being falsely accused of hunting down unarmed black men, murdering them in the streets. We know that we've had a major spike in murders in the inner cities across our country. We know that ambushes of police officers are up dramatically, a 200% increase in 2016 over 2015, John. I mean, just very, very dramatic. Murders of police, and then ambushes, assassinations of police officers, just doing this out, sitting in their patrol car or doing their duty, just having people walk up and blow them away. This stuff has got to stop. And our breakfast this year is dedicated once again to honoring police, and we're going to do something a little special this year because of the difficulties they faced in 2016. We also honor 2 young people with scholarships. So the breakfast is about bringing police and youth together. That's one of our themes. And then we honor people from other walks of life as well. We honor people. One gentleman, Pepper Kite, who does a ministry of antique cars. We brings guys together around antique cars and then talks to them about faith in God. And we've the superintendent of Chesapeake Public Schools, who's done a tremendous job here. And business people, people from every walk of life, basically. We honor about 8 people at this breakfast. And, it's been going on. This is the 17th year, John, the 17th year. But like I said, this one is very, very special because we honor police, and you find very few events in communities that do that. Well, we do, and we've been doing it for 16 years now. And we're very, very excited about this one because we know it's going to be an encouragement to all those law enforcement officers out there who have felt in some ways under assault over the last couple of years, really.
All right, so when is it, where is it, and how do people attend?
Well, it's going to be at the Chesapeake Marriott at 725 Wood Lake Drive in Chesapeake. It's going to be not this coming, but Monday, January the 16th at 10 a.m. Tickets are only $25, and people can order tickets by going to The Called, just like it sounds, TheCalled.org. TheCalled.org. They can buy their tickets for the breakfast, or they can just call us, and we'll make arrangements to get tickets to them. They can call us 757-485-7777. It's going to be an exciting event. It's unlike some of these dry business events. I know you've been there, John. We have singing, and
that's great.
And we're going to have a great speaker coming up from North Carolina to share with us. Former police officer, as a matter of fact, is our keynote speaker. He's a dynamic speaker. He's got a lot to say about these issues, and so I'm looking forward to something exciting event. And we get in there at 10, out at 12, so people who have to go back to work, don't have to be concerned about spending all day in a ballroom, because I know that can get a little tedious. I've done quite a bit of it myself.
If they want more information, give me the phone number again.
If they want more information, they can go to thecalled.org, TheCalled.org, or they can call 757-485-7777, 485-7777.
Or go to thecalled.org, and that'll be Monday, Martin Luther King Day, on
Martin Luther King holiday. Yep.
Martin Luther King holiday on January 16th at the Chesapeake Marriott. I've been there. It's a great event. A lot of fun and interesting people show up and they're singing. It's not fun. It's not one of these, like you said, one of these dry events where everybody gets up there and makes droning political speeches. It's a really fun event, and I'd encourage people to get involved if you've got the time that day. 757-485-7777, or just go to thecalled.org. I'm out of time. I want to thank Bishop E.W. Jackson for being with us. And
thank you, John.
We look forward to having you back.